You're being lied to. For years, you've been told that you have to sell your starter home with a 2.5% or a 3% interest rate in order to afford your next house. Well, you actually don't. Today, I'm going to show you a little loophole that we like to call the 75% rule. It's like a magic eraser that literally deletes your old mortgage from your credit profile so that you can buy your next home without selling your current home with that amazing low rate and start building actual wealth. But if you try this without knowing all the steps and the exact sequences, the underwriter is going to deny you. All right, to build generational wealth, you have to beat the bank at their own game. And here's the scenario. When you apply for a loan, the banks are going to look at something called a DTI, or debt to income ratio. It's basically showing how much monthly debt you have compared to how much monthly income you have, and they turn that into a percentage. Most conventional lenders cap the total DTI somewhere in the low to mid 40s. Some strong files stretch a bit higher, but as a rule of thumb, the closer you are to the mid 30s, the better your pricing tends to be. Of course, this is always dependent upon your lender and the guidelines at the time you try to qualify, because things in this industry change all the time, which is why this strategy works right now, but it may not work a few years or even a few months down the line. If anything changes, don't worry, we'll put an update video in the pinned comments so you can keep up to date. In this example, let's say you want to upgrade into a new house because your income has improved. Maybe when you first bought your house, your income was $8,300 a month. Fast forward a few years later, and now your household income has ballooned up to $170,000 a year, or roughly $14,000 in monthly income. And now you're looking at a different neighborhood with a better school district, a house with more square footage. You're shopping in a range where it makes sense to make those monthly payments. And that's how everyone shops for homes. It's always by the monthly payments. And this is also the way that banks will qualify you too. And let's say your current mortgage right now costs $3,000 a month, and you're looking at a house that would cost you about $5,000 a month in mortgage. So there's no way the bank is going to approve you to buy that new house until you sell your old house. Why? Because your debt to income would not qualify. You would have $8,000 of total debt if you never sold that house. You can afford $5,000 worth of debt, but not 8,000. So now when you go to the bank to ask for a new loan for the house, they're going to look at this new house and say, well, this is going to cost you $5,000 a month. You're going to need to get rid of that $3,000 debt in order to qualify for this new house. Okay, now here's where the magic eraser and the 75% rule come into play. You rent out your current house, and let's say you're able to get $4,000 in market rent. And you would think that all $4,000 of that rental income would be counted towards your monthly gross income, but it doesn't. The bank won't count all of it because they assume things will break, there's going to be vacancies. So they leave 25% as a reserve, and they apply what we call the 75% rule, meaning if you receive $4,000 a month in rental income, the bank will credit you $3,000 in income. With the 75% rule, $3,000 of that rental income will be used to offset your $3,000 mortgage, essentially canceling them both out on paper. On paper, it looks like you don't have a $3,000 mortgage. You just freed up your DTI, and now you're able to go buy that new house without selling your old one. But this only works if you have a lease contract with security deposit and first month's rent already paid by the renter. It has to show contractual commitment. But what if you actually could get more than 4,000 for rent? And I know that sounds crazy. It sounds like a lot, but it's not unheard of in parts of California where we've seen a ton of appreciation over the past 5 years, where rents are in the $5,000 to $6,000 range. And I personally know people that are paying these numbers to live in those neighborhoods because they're just that desirable. If we run the numbers again with a $6,000 rent, with the 75% rule, you now have $4,500 of qualifying income instead of the 3,000. And that's what we call positive cash flow. And it's a game changer. The bank will now add that 1,500 to your income. And now it opens up at least three more branches of possibility. And all three of these will accelerate your wealth building. But before we get into the three ways that you can build your wealth, if you have positive cash flow, you need to know what can actually derail the whole process. What are the traps, the pitfalls? Remember the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there are some traps that you need to watch out for. And we've seen this happen in the past where clients of ours had perfect credit, great income. The math worked out perfectly, but the loan got denied in the end because they didn't have enough reserves or they didn't have the right type of reserves. To make this whole thing work, your lender is going to want to see real reserves. And what do we mean by reserves? The common target is roughly 6 months of payments across both properties. Remember, both properties. In liquid accounts, it means like cash or something you can sell very quickly. The stacks of gold bars you have in your basement, like that's not considered liquid, or even real estate is not actually considered liquid. Your reserves need to be in the form of cash or stocks or something similar to that. And we're talking about net reserves, meaning after down payment, after closing costs for the mortgage. If you have little to no savings, even though the rest of the math looks great, this deal most likely is not going to happen for you. And then there's some operational or timing hurdles you need to look out for because you need the contract and the deposit in order to qualify. But the main thing is the dates need to align with your lender's guidelines. And this can vary from lender to lender. So that's why we always say consult with your mortgage professional, link in the description. But if you have all those things in place, because you've worked with us or an experienced local real estate agent and you cash flow positive, all right, meaning that your rental income is now more than the cost of your current mortgage, then we get into the fun stuff. So the possibility number one to accelerate your wealth is Upgrade Plus. Qualify for a bigger house. Use the extra qualifying income, that extra 1,500, to qualify for a larger house. In the previous example, if we're in an interest rate environment of like 6%, a $5,000 monthly mortgage gives you a $830,000 house. But with that additional positive cash flow, you can get a house worth up to $940 and comfortably afford it. The second option is time travel. You can qualify for the $830,000 house and pay an additional $1,500 towards a principal every month. That turns your 30-year mortgage into a 17-year mortgage, and you save $462,000 in interest payments. That's almost $500,000 back in your pockets and a path to full ownership in almost half the time. And the third branching possibility that emerges is you can qualify for that $830,000 house and you can get a HELOC or a home equity line of credit on the original property. The HELOC should be structured so that the positive cash flow, the $1,500 a month, that should be your monthly HELOC payment. And let's say, for example, the HELOC rate is 8%, then you can potentially get access to a $200,000 line of credit with a monthly payment of less than $1,500. What you do with the HELOC, it's completely up to you. But our recommendation on this channel is always, if you're going to leverage, use it to grow your wealth. Renovate your new home. Turn that $830,000 house into a $900,000 house using that money to renovate. Or go make a down payment on another property. Now you have two rentals and you can use the BRRRR method to continue to do it over and over and over again. And now you're really accelerating your wealth. Do you see where I'm going with this? All right, so now that we're here, let me know in the comments what you would do with a $200,000 line of credit. And you can absolutely try to run this math for yourself at home. Or if you want to work with an experienced team that has executed on this strategy in the past, then go ahead, use a link in the description, book a call with us. We'll go over the numbers and we'll let you know if you have the right type of reserves to pull this off. All right, we're not trying to pitch you a course. We're not trying to sell you a book or a membership. We're just going to show you the math. If you aren't quite ready to talk to us yet, it's perfectly fine. Go ahead and watch this video. We cover this same strategy, but in a much broader scope. So go ahead, click that video, and we'll see you in that one.